A small country in South Asia with half the population of Ukraine has become embroiled in turmoil. People power protests over the past week have unseated Sri Lanka's President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who has fled the country in anticipation of resigning, and sent its acting Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe into hiding, while the country's ruling class scrambles to fill the resulting political vacuum. The proximate reason for the public anger are a combination of widespread food and fuel shortages, the crumbling of economic output, and a political implosion not seen in Asia since Indonesia's own 1998 revolution. Yet international aid has not been forthcoming, possibly due to the G7's predominant focus on Ukraine. Some analysts say that Sri Lanka's woes are self-inflicted, which is largely true, and that they hold no broader lessons for emerging markets, which is completely false. While the Rajapaksa clan are largely responsible for running the country into the ground, there are typologies in their misbehavior, such as macroeconomic imbalances and public policy failures, which are relevant to developing Asia, and indeed for emerging markets. The first lesson is that political malfeasance on the scale witnessed in Sri Lanka is not unique to Asia. The pandemic demonstrated that democracies in developing Asia, India, the Philippines, Indonesia, were ill-prepared to deal with a public health crisis, showcasing serious governance deficits and shortfalls in technocratic competence. In Sri Lanka, the malfeasance showed up in the Rajapaksa clan's decision to ban fertilizer imports. In India and Indonesia, the state was poorly prepared to deal with the flow of migrants due to job losses from the pandemic. An obvious consequence is that societies have become more combustible. Sudden bursts of public anger over failures of the state, as we witnessed in Colombo last weekend, are no longer rare. When the Indian government announced a controversial scheme a few weeks ago to reconfigure army recruitment, nationwide protests broke out instantaneously. The mythology about the general public in Asia being pliant has also been demolished as protests in Hong Kong, Thailand and Myanmar, after the coup, have shown. Public anger is also linked with the struggle of central banks to deal with the first and second round effects of inflation. Globally, this has not been a shining moment for central banks, heroes of the global financial crisis and the first phase of the pandemic. Their failure to anticipate inflationary shocks in 2021, arising from supply chain dislocations and massive fiscal spending, and 2022, mainly from the Russian invasion, has had a cascading impact on the economic fortunes of developed and emerging markets. While Asian central banks have fretted for the last year about the potential adverse impact from Fed tapering, they have been caught unawares by dollar strength and turmoil in commodity markets, which has pushed up import prices for food and fuel.